Morning, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Morning Tech. And I actually got to sleep in for an hour this morning, guys. With the time change, we don't change our clocks here. So I got up at 6 a.m. versus 7 a.m. 5 a.m. And the sun is out and it's coming up. So we'll see if I get sun in the face here in a minute. But good morning. I've got Jeffrey Powers from geekazine.com up on top. Good morning, Jeffrey. How are you?
I'm doing great. Not well. I had a little bit more sleep than that, but I'm doing great this morning.
And we got Rob Greenlee from Zune on the bottom. Good morning, Rob. How are you?
Doing fantastic, guys. It's great to be back here. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has. And actually, the last we saw each other here, just what it was, a week ago, Saturday or whatever it was. We all were at Blogworld and New Media Expo. I don't know how much new media there was, but it was definitely Blogworld. So, I guess without really belaboring too much, I just kind of want to spend a little time and talk about the show. I keep being told that they had this great at the end of the day on Saturday. They said they had this great what they call it, a podcaster meetup or something. I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah,
you're talking the town hall?
Yeah, the town hall. Did you go to the town hall, Jeffrey?
No, I didn't know about it. And since I was doing stuff with Stitcher, I didn't get a chance to really go into any session.
So, Rob, did you hear about the town hall at all?
No, I saw something that said something about podcast community in the calendar, but I had really no idea what was going on. So, I mean, it wasn't very well communicated. I would be surprised if it was very well attended, but I also had an airplane to catch that morning too. So
well, they said there was about 40 or 45 people there, and I was like, there was 40 or 45 podcasters at the show. I don't know what what do you guys I don't know, what do you guys think the numbers were on the show itself?
I thought it was fairly well attended. I mean, it's about what I'd seen in the past with Blogworld. I wouldn't say it was a lot bigger from what I could tell. I think it was about comparable to what we have seen.
1,500, 2,000 people, maybe.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it had a big explosion.
Since I was actually interviewing podcasters during the weekend, I got about 20, 30 podcasters that came through, so I know that there were at least that many.
So about 30 then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the numbers were, but one thing that we did see was there was a lot of newbies, a lot of new folks at the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I was watching badges, and it was all Southern California. It was L.A., Santa Clara. There wasn't I didn't see hardly anybody from the San Francisco area. I'd like to see their breakdown on attendance, but it a little bit disappointing for sure.
Well, yeah, I don't get a sense that it's really a podcast event anymore. It's about blogging, and that's pretty much what the event was all about, and some new media stuff. But I keep asking the question, what's the new name for what we're working on, because it's not new anymore.
Right. It's that is true too. So media creators, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a good question. Let's make up a name right now.
One of 25 that people want to push around, right?
Well, I suppose names aren't really that important, but in some ways they are, I believe.
Yeah, Rob, make sure you're vocalizing. You're still really, really low.
It's still really low.
Yeah. And
it sounds like you have no bass in your microphone.
Well, I think it's just because there's not enough modulation, but
that's possible.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll take my sound muffle off. I don't know if that helped.
So I spent really a couple of days kind of overviewing what what happened at the show and looking at our contacts and I just don't know how I can go back as a vendor.
I'll
Yeah, I would
definitely,
have to say I didn't
definitely will
actually
have
spend a lot of time at the
to
show,
make some
but
Hang on,
changes. That
you're both talking on top of each other. Go ahead, Rob.
yes, I didn't actually spend a lot of time at the show on my trip anyway. I spent most of my time in meetings outside of the show, but and that's mainly because I had a dual purpose for coming down. But I mean, it's not really. I don't necessarily get a lot from going to those shows, except for meeting up with people. So I think that's the big reason I think that anybody goes to an event like that. I think. I mean, unless you're really trying to learn something from the actual sessions themselves and spend a lot of time doing that.
Jeffrey, did you see how many? What would you say on regulars and folks that you haven't seen in a while? What would you say the mix was?
I would say that the mix was about anybody that was really serious, that did this almost for a living was there. Um, yeah, you had the regular cast of I'm going to call it Next Media. How's that? Does that work for everybody?
I think it was more like the consultants were there and the speakers were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of Next Media as opposed to New Media?
Well,
Let's get this
we're
get this figured out.
I mean, I think it's good.
we're
Okay.
already next.
We're already next.
Yeah, but
So-
hey, it's better
Yeah,
than
but-
New
yeah,
Media.
but
So
Todd, we're
let's
not
just
new,
call it
that's
Next
for sure.
Media. We're going to coin that phrase right now. Next Media
Okay.
is what it's called.
I don't know about that.
But the bottom line is that it was a cast of characters. Yeah, there was a lot of a lot of Californians there, but it was in California, so when in Rome, as the Romans do. But yeah, I saw some people from Virginia. I saw people Oklahoma. We had some New York represent. Uh, some of the Ohio and Pennsylvania people. There were a lot of speakers that, of course, were then the there with doing their speaking thing, and of course coming into the expo every now and then. I talked with Kelly and John who were there. Just they weren't there to speak. They were just there to kind of just find out what's going on in with all the other podcasters and next media creators. So
But she was doing interviews with. Oh, now I'm getting feedback from someone. She was doing mostly interviews with bloggers and stuff, and I don't know. I'd like to see her content. I don't know who she, because I didn't see any super big names at the show. Did you guys see any superstars at the show?
Yeah, I thought that there was a few kind of larger name celebrities that actually showed up, but I'm not sure. I didn't go to any of those sessions.
the Guy Kawasaki was there on the first day.
Yeah, the business day when they didn't have the show floor open, when most of the business people were there that could have, I got a lot of business people saying, well, I'm being here today, but I can't be here tomorrow, and I'm pissed that the show floor is not open. So, they could have, so I think we lost a bunch of business opportunity on the first day.
And then on the last day, the closing keynote, it was actually funny because it was supposed to be. I know Kevin Pollak was supposed to be on the panel. Justine Ezrak, Justine, was on the panel. She was the only person that was on the original panel that was there. But they ended up getting a good panel. What's his name? Jess something, that he does HD films, and he was the one that did the TV show V and a lot of other stuff. He was there on the panel. Justine, and then a basketball player, I believe, was on the panel. That gets into new media. And so I stuck around for the first 10, 15 minutes, but I was pretty much beat, so I had to get out of there.
Yeah, Rob, I didn't go to any of the keynotes. I didn't have time, so I really don't have nothing to weigh against the keynotes.
Yeah,
and
the opening keynote was great. It was Peter Shankman, who he just pretty much nailed it.
Who's he? I don't even know who he is.
Peter Shankman used to work for AOL, and then one day he got an idea. This was back in the late '90s when Titanic was big. So he was sitting in New York, and so he decided to make a T-shirt and sell it on Times Square. It basically said, "It sank. Get over it." And the next day, he was asked on to the Howard Stern show. So he started a PR firm after everything exploded. He's got a website called Help a Reporter Out, um,
Oh, I know
where
who that is.
yeah. So basically, if you are looking for a news source, or if you are a
Right.
news source trying to get notoriety, you basically go up to the web page and you find places that you can speak on, or you ask other reporters, hey, do you want to talk on this subject? You want to talk on this
Right.
subject?
And he makes quite a bit of money on sponsorship spots in those newsletter mailings. My understanding
Yeah,
is that's where his
yeah,
forte is.
and he's definitely kicking it.
All right. Well, I don't know. I guess, I think, it's what was real telling was when we, and I don't even want to use that video, Jeffrey, because you can see how many people didn't attend when we announced the podcast award winners. There would be, old days of old, there'd be 1,500 people there waiting for the announcement. And
Yeah.
and they had a bar set up and 2 rows of chairs, and it was like, okay, I'm looking, I'm feeling stupid sitting up there, first of all, just yeah, so I just kind of like read through the list. Okay, thanks folks, and I was done. it was really it was really that bad. I mean, it was bad. It was embarrassing bad.
No,
And
Well,
that
Todd, it's
stage
all
was
going
supposed to be
online
utilized
now, right?
for
That's
for
where
you're
they're
speakers.
doing
Jeffrey,
most of
you're
their
stepping
stuff.
all over Rob again. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, it's all going online now, right? So
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
yeah, Rob's so low, Jeffrey can't hear you when you're talking. Um, yeah, and at the PodCamp LA thing, nothing happened at that stage. They were supposed to have it's supposed to have events there, right?
Yes. The my understanding was they had a call for speakers. I don't know if people just got confused because it's like, okay, PodCamp LA is not supposed to be the same as Blog World, so why am I going to a PodCamp when Blog World is happening? So there was a lot of question. I would have never called it PodCamp LA. I
And
just wouldn't have.
and they had
It's just too confusing.
and they had our sessions called PodCamp, but yet they were checking badges. So,
What do you mean?
well, okay, all the media sessions were called PodCamp sessions. It was listed on the board as PodCamp.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and it's
yeah.
also, I mean, PodCamp as a concept had no business at that event because it's not that. It's not a paid conference type of a concept. So I'm really surprised, just from that perspective, it just wasn't appropriate to have it there. I agree with you.
And I had some people complain to me that they thought they were going to get in a PodCamp for their floor pass, so they went to the listed PodCamp sessions and couldn't get in.
Wow.
Wow.
So you're like, what can you do?
Yeah.
But there was, mass confusion around everything. So,
It was an experiment that failed.
well, they
It
did
happens.
they did good at New York. They had PodCamp at New York, and I guess they did
No,
very well.
no. They didn't.
They didn't.
They had the podcast pavilion in New York, but there wasn't a PodCamp New York.
Hmm.
Oh, there wasn't.
No.
Interesting.
So if we don't go to this event, guys, which event are we gonna call the podcaster, expo?
Well, I think we have to talk to Andy and find out how streaming media went.
Yeah, it's a good question.
And see how that event turned out. I haven't heard from Andy from that show, so I guess we'll find out. But it is what it is, and I don't know what else to really think about it from that perspective. It's just it's just disappointing, and a lot of podcasters, I they didn't even know. They didn't even know. I had an email the day after Blogworld, and the email was, Todd, what event should I go to as a podcaster? What's out there for me? And I'm like, it just finished, and they're like, I didn't even hear about this. So, it's well known in the blogging space, but it's not known at all in the let me switch. It's not known at all. I guess new podcasters don't even know.
Well, the biggest problem is just the fact that you have Blogworld and New Media Expo. I mean, it's a long name to begin with. I
Yeah.
mean, where do you how do you how do you cut that down to something that says bloggers and podcasters? Although I just probably answered my own question right there, but Blogworld New Media Expo is a lot to consume in one take.
Hey Jeffrey, you're looking like it's like cloudy out. You're really dark. I don't know if you can brighten up any or not.
Okay.
Um, well, I guess we'll just leave it at that at this point. And people were telling me all during the show, do your own event, and I don't know. There's a lot of risk in that too. And so I don't know if we have to do a virtual event or what, but
Midwest is missing an event.
yeah, but you gotta have it some location that makes it appealing to go for. Why do you want to go to? I thought L.A. was the perfect venue. There's stuff to do, and L.A. There's really, in November. Come on, there's not that much to do in L.A. in November. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm thinking LA is just a good venue because it's a good place to go. You go party afterwards, if nothing else. If the show sucks, at least you can go have some nightlife.
Well, that's certainly one part of going to Las Vegas that was fun too. Is that that's such a fun place to actually go visit. I mean, granted, you can get burned out on Las Vegas pretty fast, but um, you know, I don't know. It had a totally different feel being in LA than Las Vegas. So, and I'm not sure that it was better.
Yeah, I don't know if it was better either. And that's definitely true. Well, let me,
I don't know about podcasters. Maybe we have our own event again. That's maybe less of an expo and more just conference sessions or something like that. We can keep the cost down on it.
Here's another idea that I was thinking of after when I was coming back, and that was instead of spreading it out during the weekend, you basically give a day, and day one is for bloggers, and day two is for podcasters, or vice versa, where it's more dedicated, so you don't have to be there all weekend, kind of like what South by Southwest does. They split up the
Yeah.
three things. So there's dedication. So you can go to one of many sessions that are happening.
well,
But
part
in
of.
some ways,
Go ahead, Rob.
yeah, in some ways it feels like it's oil and water, though. I mean, it's a different community with podcasting than it is blogging. I don't think that there's a lot of crossover there. I think if you're, I mean, I think a lot of podcasters blog, but I don't think that they think of themselves as bloggers. I think so. I think there's a clear community difference between those two. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I'd have a tendency to agree on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell people they should be doing blogging on days they're not creating content, I get this. It's like this look of like, why? Why should I do that? You know, and so it is on. I think you're right, Rob. From that perspective, you're definitely right.
Yeah, and if we, I don't know if it's possible if from a group of folks in the industry to put together another podcast expo, just or podcast conference or podcast today or something like that.
Or if you can get a show like streaming media to add a couple of session tracks to, their stuff.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I know Dan or Rayburn who runs that. I've known him for years. I did I put a show together for streaming media back in the early 2000s and worked with him. So I could certainly reach out to him and talk to him.
Yeah, there's got to be, and I think there's more crossover there because a lot of guys that are streaming are also podcasting, but I don't think too many of them are YouTubers, So I didn't know, I didn't see how many YouTubers were at the event either, because that was another thing that was being promoted heavily at this event, was attracting the YouTube crowd. But I don't know if they were there.
No, I don't think they were either. But
No.
I think that streaming media one, it may be a good one to tie our wagon to, because I've been on panels at that event in the past too, and it's a really good conference. It's not a big conference, but it may be just the right size for podcasters because it's all about media.
Yeah, potentially. I think you might be right there. So nothing else. It's good. It doesn't hurt to talk to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll plan on reaching out to Dan and see what he has to say.
All right, that'd be cool. A couple other things here. I guess we'll just kind of switch topics up. Did you guys see the article or the write up by the folks from Logitech?
Oh, what about the Google TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see that.
He's like, Google TV cost us dearly. No review replacement coming. $100 million.
They lost?
Yeah. 100 million. But in the same vein, LG announced yesterday, and I don't know if this is immediate response to what Logitech said in damage control, but LG said it's planning to debut a Google TV at the trade show in January. So,
ouch.
Yeah. Now, Google TV has not updated on the Logitech yet on the review. So, does that mean we're not getting the update?
It doesn't sound like the relationship between Google and Logitech is very good right now.
Yeah. It definitely, it was just like this slap down. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, Sony says, we're building a different kind of TV set just like Apple. So you go, what are they doing?
Just like Apple, huh?
He says, there's a tremendous amount of R&D going into a different kind of TV set. I'm getting feedback from somebody. Did someone change a...
I didn't.
Yeah, I'm getting a loop back here.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Well, it sounds like it's coming from me and coming from Todd, but Rob, when you talk, you don't get a loop back.
Really? Here, I can mute here and see if it gets...
Does that help? Oh, yeah, it was definitely coming from Rob. It says, we can't continue selling TV sets as we currently do. Every TV set we make loses money. That's an interesting, say that they're losing money.
That was Sony?
Yeah.
Yeah, their TV department has been not doing too well for the last couple of years. In fact, was it 3 weeks ago they split their TV department into three, one being LCD, one being new technology, and a third which I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm not sure why they don't excel in the TV area where they excel in other areas, but they're not doing good when it comes to that.
He says he wasn't specific on how exactly Sony would change the entertainment staple in living rooms around the world. He explained to the Wall Street Journal that he's ready to take on whatever Apple will offer with a 4-screen approach that includes mobile devices, tablets, and phones, as well as computers and televisions, but connected TVs are hardly unique. He says, I spent the last 5 years building a platform so I compete with Steve Jobs. It's finished and it's launching now. What is that? What do you mean he's launching now?
Is it launching this holiday?
That's a good question. Does that mean they're all in on Google TV? Because that's the only thing I know that they're doing to compete with Jobs.
Maybe they're going to launch their, I don't know, some sort of different type of television or something.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch and see how that boils out. But Sony they've been slow to market on a lot of stuff, and they should have, back when I just finished Steve Jobs' book, and when it's very obvious that these big companies, these big national corporations, they really, it's true, they have no vision, you know? And you just, I don't know if that's just because they're too big and it's, there's a decision by committee and you have to go through 25 layers of managers and all it takes is one old fogey to, not get it and kill a project. You just, when a company gets that big, it just makes you wonder.
Yeah, I'm living in that world, and I would say that that's exactly true. There's lots of layers of people that need to make decisions, and it's sometimes often difficult to get to those people on a timely basis and to get them all the information that they really need to make an important decision too, because they're so busy with their schedules or in meetings all the time, and it's difficult to get time with these people to share new ideas too. I mean, it's really, an overwhelming thing for a lot of these people, at the very highest levels of these companies, to actually have time to be able to evaluate new ideas and new technologies, and because they're always kind of seeing, you know, um, what the data is, right, from the last quarter or the last month or whatever. So they're always looking at things mostly from a reactionary perspective on a more day-to-day basis. Um, it's difficult, in the planning process to have time to actually, um, in a shared vision to be able to look out in the future. And that really is kind of what's, really amazing about Steve Jobs is that it appears that he was able to do that more at Apple. And I don't know if it's because he is such a strong, he was such a strong leader at the very top of that company. Um, and but if you look at a lot of the other companies, like Microsoft, is that the decision making is pretty much lower levels of the company, and there's so many people down there that have to be involved to make those decisions that it takes a long time.
So is it, it's obvious the top down approach is where, he was involved in every
Yeah,
facet of it, so I guess that just, leads to success. Obviously it allows you to be quick and nimble. And, things are changing so fast today. It's, if you're not quick and nimble, you're gonna lose, and that's what a lot of these companies are starting to see. So I don't know what brings nimbleness back to companies. Does you look at a company like Microsoft? Do they have new product teams, or do they have just is it up to the individual guy in the trenches to think a little bit outside the box and bring the idea to the team? Is that how that works?
yeah, I think that there is that, and I think that there is some thinking around, new ideas that happen in certain groups, that's their job to do that, because there are groups that are kind of strategic and planning and those kind of areas. But even at my level, I actually have some sway in those kind of things too, to share new ideas and new things. But I tend to have to sell up the organization,
Right.
where if it comes from, a higher level person in the organization, like a vice president or something like that, it's more of a sell down scenario. So what I have to do is I have to sell up, and then it has to be sold down. So that takes twice as long to actually get that done.
And it's got to be frustrating. I just so I don't know. So Jeffrey, do you think Sony can get their mojo back and come to market with something, or are they just going to be giving us the new Google TV inside of Sony TVs?
I think well, they need to reweigh where their products lie. I mean, I think there's a lot of confusion in Sony as to what they're doing and how they're doing it, um, and especially because of the fact that 10 years ago they just basically said we're doing it and we're doing it our way, and who cares what anybody else says. But now there's this world of we do care what's being said, and Sony it doesn't is trying to adapt to that. I think being two steps behind on the whole situation, I agree on that. But sometimes it's nice to actually have something that has solidity to it before anything. So sometimes, yeah, sometimes being on the cutting edge of technology is great, but sometimes just being two steps back and getting it when there's stability to it is something to be said there too.
Now, LG basically had, up to this point, we thought they were doing their own thing, and no one has been able to get into their developer API. So maybe they have found that to be much harder than what they thought. So apparently, they are in talks with Google. And of course, we know Google is trying to build a coalition around it. So we'll see what happens with this. But it it'll be curious to see what it'll be fun at CES to go over there and talk to LG. That'll be something new for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Facebook and their privacy, well, supposed privacy decision and their agreement with the Federal Trade Commission, or supposed agreement with the Federal Trade Commission, on where instead of opting out, you're now going to have to opt in. There is some, for a better word, um, little bit of, not 100% this is what they're doing, but do you think this is a good thing that the FTC has slapped them down and said you will force everyone to opt in and you're going to be monitored for 20 years?
Hmm.
This is all over the privacy situation. I don't know if you guys have followed this or not.
No, yeah, I haven't really followed that too much.
Well, basically, what has happened is it said that Facebook is close to a settlement with the U.S. government over charges that it misled users about its use of personal information. And according to people familiar with the talks, the settlement would require Facebook to obtain users' consent before making material retroactive changes to its privacy policies. And that would mean that Facebook must get consent to share data in a way that is different from how users originally agreed the data could be used. Now, apparently, this is an agreement that is waiting for approval with the FTC. And but I think I think if they do this and make them step back, it's a good thing. And
I think so.
another part of this provision is that the government will independently audit them or require them to submit privacy audits for the next 20 years. And I think there's another company that had to do that too, Google had to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it sounds like the government's holding them accountable on how they handle personal information, and I think that's always a good thing. I mean, I think that Facebook, I've had the observation that they just feel like they can turn stuff off and on and do whatever they want,
Oh.
and that
Oh.
is risky for users.
Rob, you just got loud.
Really? What did I
Yeah.
do?
I have no idea. All of a sudden, it just started working.
Wow. Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe it was a bandwidth issue.
then it just kind of dropped again, didn't it? Try it one more time. 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
Wow, what's up with that? It just like it kind of came and went, didn't it, Jeffrey?
Yeah. Did you touch a cable or something like that?
I didn't do anything. I was just really nice to it, I guess.
Oh, maybe I need a rattle cable back here. That was just like, as all of a sudden it was like, boom, you're there. You're.
Like Rob's back. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I was like, I
So
can hear.
I'm just glad that somebody's looking out for us over there at Facebook around our private information. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm all public anyway. But yeah,
It's like it wants to work and then it doesn't want to work, doesn't it, Jeffrey? We keep hearing your volume come up and then volume come down. Kind of funny. So eBay is getting ready to introduce something new, and they're going to refer you to sales to nearby stores. And so the e-commerce giant wants to make it easy for shoppers to find the item looking for. So let's say you want to buy a Nintendo Wii that's for sale and in stock at a store near you. You can pay in advance and through a mobile app or online and go pick it up instead of ordering it, and having it delivered by a vendor locally. So the example they got were like Toys R Us. This is a whole new model for them.
Yeah. Well, I think that buy online and pick up in the store concept has been around for a while. I know I'm not sure it's really popular for people to do. One thing that's been worked on here by the folks at Amazon.com is a It's like a locker delivery system that's in like 7-Eleven stores. So so if you wanted to order something through Amazon, that product would be delivered to like a secure lockbox that would be in your neighborhood. And it's a real kind of a similar concept, but it's not, associated with any particular kind of big chain store or anything like that. It'd be more like, it could be like, almost like a secure lockbox that package gets delivered to. And the Amazon folks are, experimenting, with that concept. It's called the Amazon Locker, I think is what they call it. I don't know if you guys have seen that here over the last couple months.
Yeah, I have, and I think I just found the audio problem.
You did?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not me?
I don't think it's you. I was back there wiggling stuff, and it said, "Oh, here's the volume up."
Yay!
Wow. Yay! I'm back! Yay!
I don't have to squint to hear.
That's funny.
The program that on the eBay is called the Red Laser program, and actually I remember reading about this like 3 months ago when they started putting all the barcode stuff into eBay, and where we were going, well, what are they going to do with this? What are they going to do with this? This is actually I'm really impressed. I like the idea that you can buy it new now. You can go to this brick and mortar store, pick up the item that you just bought, as opposed to wait 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too. So I guess we'll see how well it's adopted and how it's going to affect their eBay sellers, because this is going to compete. The reason eBay was successful is that I could be here in Hawaii and have a store and sell equally across the country. And now if I'm going to be competing on eBay with brick and mortar, that could affect the entire,
Topography, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how that. I'm sure the eBay sellers are going to be screaming about this, but time it'll be one of those things we'll have to watch. Apple is beginning to sell an unlocked contract-free iPhone 4S is $649 and up. 16 gig, $649, 32 gig, $749, 64 gig, $849. My God, just seems insane to pay $849 for a phone. But the unlocked iPhones only work on supported GSM networks such as AT&T in the United States when you travel. Unlike phone will not work with CDMA carriers such as Verizon Wireless or Sprint, which is curious as well. So they're only going to make, and Sprint announced they're going to start locking down their phones, which they delivered unlocked sometime next week. But I was in an Apple store last week, and they're still selling like hotcakes. The gal told me that they're still on a reservation basis, so that tells you they've still got worldwide demand issues. They got to get that fixed, or they're going to, they're going to impact their sales for the holidays, I would think.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing about all the battery problems.
Oh, yeah.
All sorts of problems, with this phone. So I don't know if it's, I noticed that the Apple stock price was down here this past week. So it kind of makes me wonder if there's a correlation between people's bad experiences with their iPhones.
Well, they say that there is a new bug as well. The iOS 5.0.1 update was supposed to fix the battery issue. Some people are saying it's not fixing it.
Yeah.
And if you're on Verizon and you update, it basically is trashing your address book now. It's our contact list. So, there's a list out there on how to partially fix it. But, you do an update and wipe out your address book. That's just exactly what you want.
Yeah. I had a friend. He apparently had to go to the Apple store to pick up a new cable because the 501 update messed with the power, where he couldn't use the power cable that he was using. I'm not exactly sure what that was all about, but that's what he was telling me. It was something about not charging properly, and he had to do that. So when 501 came down, I just basically I'm saying no until 502, I guess, because it just sounds like way too many problems.
I did the update and have not. Of course, I've got a 4S. I mean a 4, and have not had any issues. What I was impressed about was the ability to do the over-the-air update. That was awesome. And not having to hook to the computer, just do the download and it updated. From that perspective, it worked. Now, Apple says also, and this is another issue that they've got, to stop using first generation iPad Nano due to battery overheating and opens a worldwide replacement program. So if you have an iPad Nano Gen 1, which would have been made between September 2005 and December 2006, you're going to get a replacement. That's pretty interesting. So I just wonder how many people have a iPad Nano 2005, 2006 still laying around that they're actually still using. I guess parents better go get the ones from their kids that they gave them and see if they're included in the recall. But I think that's the first time I ever heard of an Apple product being recalled and replaced. So maybe that helped their situation too, Rob.
Yeah.
With the stop.
Well, it does appear like that there's some cracks in the Apple stuff here. I don't know if it's an opening for other players to jump in.
Well, anytime there's an issue like that, of course, I would think there would be a nice opening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Google has they're getting ready to roll their new music service, and apparently it's set to launch without all the music, and they haven't been able to get all the labels on board at this point. And there's a special event in LA on Wednesday, and on which they're going to, I guess, roll this out. But it's familiar with the labels tell that Sony and Warner Group haven't lined up for the deal yet, and that they're skeptical that they'll be locked in by Wednesday. It looks like it's finally show up. I guess it's called iTunes Match. Looked like it's. Wait a minute. Does it say? Did it say Apple? Apple. Meanwhile, looks like it's finally ready to show off iTunes Match. It's a 25-a-year music service, which I don't know anything about. Do you guys know about iTunes Match?
No, I haven't seen anything about that.
Is that their cloud version?
I'm looking here. Oh yeah, it is. It's their cloud. It's their cloud. Scan and match your library. Upload remaining songs. Stream immediately. So basically, that's what iTunes Match is.
That's fun. I'm surprised they're not calling it iMatch.
That's probably that probably would have why they did that, because
I think that's a lighter, isn't it?
Yeah, right? Probably.
But they could call it Zippo.
But how many music services do we need? We've got Spotify, and they're on board. As a matter of fact, Spotify announced some stuff the other day where over half the people that are using their service, or 90% of the people using their service, are using the advertising model, and they're not paying for the service. So I don't know. I just don't know how many music services we need.
I do have the Google Music beta on my main machine, and really all it is an icon that sits on my machine and a process that takes up processor time on my computer. I rarely go into it. I rarely use it. I use Amazon MP3 web cloud for a lot of my music now, or what's on my iPhone. So it's you're right. There's way too many services out there, and it gets really confusing. The only other service now I'm thinking about it is I also use Pandora, because I can turn on my TV and turn on Roku and get the Pandora channel going and let it run in the background.
Yeah, I don't know how many more music services we need out there, but we'll see. We'll see how it does. Now here's
That-
here's probably what I would kind of consider the story of the week, and it's really super geeky. But let's talk about Adobe and Flash, and them basically throwing up the white flag and saying, "Hey, we're not going to develop Flash Player for mobile browsers anymore." And so, what does this mean for the future of Flash, especially with them saying they're going to be focusing a lot on HTML5, which really doesn't have much of a Flash component of all. Matter of fact, that's the reason why I love HTML5. It's you don't have to use Flash,
mm.
and but they're saying the Flash player on mobile was not going to achieve the same ubiquity as it has on the desktop. But then again, they're saying now they're going to focus on HTML5, so I don't fully understand what they're going to do there.
Well, I
Well,
just
two
think that
months.
they're moving away from having Flash as a product, I think is what's really going on here. I think it's just a
Yeah.
way to move the discussion, start moving the discussion away from Flash into other tools that can be used to build, around the HTML5 area, I think is probably what's really going on here. Because, I mean, Flash is clearly um, on the decline. And if I look at what's going on at Microsoft and I look at what's going on at all these, Google and Apple and stuff, it doesn't bode well for the future of Flash.
2 months ago, Adobe came out with a program called Edge, if I remember the name of the program correctly, and basically it looked exactly like Flash's editor, except you were editing in HTML5 instead of Flash. You've got a program language that's pretty much agnostic to any operating system out there. So why do you fight with programs such as Flash when you can do the exact same thing in HTML5? I think it's a great move. I think it's time to move on from Flash. Flash had its day, and now it's time to move on to HTML5 and make all websites work on any device.
They say here, we feel that Flash continues to play a vital role of enabling features and functionality on the web that are not otherwise possible. As such, we have a long-term commitment for the Flash player on desktops and are actively working on the next Flash player version. It says, of course, with the growth and continued improved browser support HTML5, the role of Flash will change. We feel that the foreseeable future, Flash is particularly strong in developing advanced video as well as providing a robust and graphically rich gaming platform, which are focusing our Flash efforts around these areas. I noticed that they say mostly gaming, but not, they kind of underplayed the video stuff. Um, I don't know. And there's limitations in HTML5 too. HTML5 is very pure. There's not a lot you can do with HTML5 yet. So within that context, so we'll have to see where they go with this. But Flash in the beginning was really set up to enable things on the web that really were not possible before. Now, this is changed with HTML5 and also CSS3. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see where this goes. But there is, a lot of movement to try to make HTML5 experience more graphically enhanced, which we need. So I guess maybe that's, maybe Adobe's, I guess, finally said we're waving a white flag and we understand we're going to be beat on this. And unlike the media companies and the video company or the actual, the old media, they're going to make this move before they become an insignificant player in the space. I just wonder what they're going to be able to do with HTML5.
Well, I mean, I would think that what you would want to do over time is you'd want to expand the capability of the HTML5 kind of platform or format. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but if you look at the history of Flash or Silverlight or these other technologies, they've been almost like an application development platform for pretty advanced functionality. I mean, it's almost like like on the Windows Phone, Silverlight has been extended into being an application development platform. So it's getting core to the ways that you create more advanced kind of user experiences around apps, and functionality on devices. So if you look at HTML5 could be or maybe should be extended into being more of an application, like a browser-based app environment kind of development platform. I'm not sure if that's the way it's going, but it certainly, if you look at the history of Flash, Flash has been a fairly advanced kind of platform for kind of doing games and lots of other types of things. I know it's been heavily used around video, but that's kind of where I'm wondering, is that maybe the HTML5 needs to move to a higher level, and maybe that's what the future is.
Jeffrey, any other thoughts?
Nothing more than what I said. I Flash is one of those things that worked 5 years ago, 10 years ago. The only thing I feel sorry for is anybody that put all their eggs in the Flash
Oh, I
basket
know.
and are
Yeah.
Flash developers. So, but in the next 5 years, the reality is Flash is it might still be protocols used in video and in gaming, but it will be maybe there is a marriage between Flash and HTML5. I don't know, but I think in the long run, Flash is pretty much on its way out.
Well, one thing that we do is with our browser or with our player that we have it auto detects what the browser can support. And if the browser can't support HTML5, we do Flash fallback. So I think we'll continue to do that, for a long time, just to make sure we support everything out there. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of years. Do want to talk just a second here. There was a good article over on BusinessInsider.com talking about the iPhone 5 was real. And here's some things that they said about it. The prototype had a bigger screen than the current iPhone. It was 4 inches diagonal, like the Samsung phone. It was not production quality. The new phone was supposed to have an aluminum back, like the iPad 2. They said that eventually Apple wants to use its liquid metal technology to make colored iPhones. The lead that they felt that the screen that they were going to use was a nicer screen with better colors, which seems pretty amazing. The prototype home button was not a physical press button. You could touch it and hold it and physically reboot the device. So in other words, it didn't actually click. And they said that the prototype was squished and flattered, just like the picture on the internet guessed. They did say that it was much faster than normal, but that it because it had its limiter removed to disguise its actual power, its battery life sucked. And of course, Siri was already out, and they said that the reason the iPhone 5 didn't come out is apparently because Steve Jobs was unhappy with the bigger screen because it fragmented iPhones. Apple's big argument against Android is the way all the different phones basically, he didn't want to fragment the phone and having a bigger screen. So I don't know. I think a bigger screen's, I don't know. What do you guys think? Think the iPhone needs a bigger screen?
If
Yeah, I think
iPhone
it
needs a
does.
bigger screen, if iPhone needs a bigger screen, then why do we have an iPad?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. You think it needs a bigger screen, Rob?
Yeah, I think a 4-inch or at least a 3.8 or something like that would be, I think, what people are starting to expect now. I mean, I think if you look at the competition, I mean, yeah, I think I read online that the justification is based on the average size of a hand and how far you can reach across the screen with your thumb or your finger or something like that as you're holding the phone.
Right.
It's the rationale for a 3.5-inch screen versus a larger screen. But certain people like myself have big hands. I mean, I'm looking for a 5-inch phone. Actually, is my preference, but that's just me.
Rob, how are you going to put that thing in your pocket?
I have big pockets.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
here's a better question. How are you going to put it in your pocket and keep the screen from cracking when you go to sit down?
I'm not going to sit on it. I'm going to pull it out before I sit down. No, the largest phone that I think you can get right now, I think, is the HTC Titan, which is coming out with Windows Phone, and it's 4.7 inches. And yeah, I'm definitely going to get that when it comes out.
Well, guys, I don't have a lot of other topics today. Do you guys see anything this past week that was wowza type of stuff?
Wowza.
Anything that, of course, you guys are getting. Have you guys updated your screen on Xbox, Rob? Has that been done?
No.
Or
It's coming.
the UI would that's a Christmas type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's coming. It's just not. It hasn't arrived yet.
Have they made an official date, or is that still under
I don't
wraps?
believe that they've actually put out an official date, but it's coming here soon, very soon.
So how's that going to work? Is every Xbox going to be able to get the update online? Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah. No. Yeah. If you have an Xbox, you're going to be able to get the new software bits that are coming out, and the support for the TV stuff that's been announced, and things like that is coming.
So one thing I did saw though was Sony had announced an SDK for the PlayStation. So did you guys follow that this week?
I didn't follow it too much.
Yeah, there was and let's see if I can find it. And I thought this was interesting. With the PlayStation having, I think it's kind of lost some of its mojo. And again, I'm not a gamer, but it says Sony is hoping developers are interested in working on games for its PlayStation Vita and Android-based devices as it launched a beta test Thursday of a new cross-platform SDK. The company will offer a beta of the PlayStation Suite SDK to a limited number of developers in the US, UK, and Japan. The goal is to get the SDK ready for an official launch, according to Sony. So I guess it's going to be strictly, they're only going to want people that are doing games. But I'm wondering if that's going to open the door for companies like us to build channels into those devices.
That's a good question.
I'm all about the channel.
I know you are. Hey, one question I wanted to throw out to both of you guys. What's your thought on the new Kindle Fire? Are you guys going to be getting some for the holidays?
I ordered one.
Did you?
Yeah. Just so I can have one and play with it, because I don't have any Android devices at all.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife went and ordered one just the other day, so I'm going to get a chance to play with one.
What? I can't even remember how much I paid her, like $190 or something like that?
$199, yeah.
That's cheap.
I know. It's a great deal.
And
Yeah. Yeah, and I also heard, I think the newer Touch Kindle that's $79 or something like that. It came out in the news that it was like $84. So actually, these tablets and these book reader things from Kindle are more expensive than what they're selling.
Well, obviously they're playing the Apple play on this. They know that they're going to make the money back in sales, on book sales.
Yeah, but the difference between Apple and Amazon is that Apple makes a lot of money on the hardware.
Well, that's true.
Or, what we're seeing with Kindle is that it's a loss leader for them which is a totally different strategy, right?
Yeah, but I still think they'll make it up in the sales of books and apps and everything else that they're going to sell.
Well, I think that's what they're hoping that happens. Yeah. It's probably true. It's probably, what they experienced, with the first Kindle, right? But as I recall, the first Kindle was a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. I've got one back here somewhere in a stack that I don't use it anymore. But it's when I can get the Kindle, when I can get my books on my iPad, it's quite the different reading experience than reading on the old style Kindle. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do here. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to start deactivating some devices, because I think they've got a 5-device limit on the number of devices you can actually share your books on.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I know that Kindle is a dual core processing machine. I don't think I know the actual process, what the speed is on that. I'm guessing it's 1 gigahertz. The only difference between a Fire and the iPad is simply the fact that you get 8 gigabytes as opposed to 16, 32, and 64. And it doesn't connect up to a computer, so that might be a a big selling point for people. Plus the fact you get video, you get games, you get books.
Is it got
So
is it got an SD card slot in it?
I don't
I don't know. That's a good
think
question. I'm not sure.
so.
Because 8 gigs is not a lot.
No.
No, it's not.
But
Though I think
the idea is that you're putting everything into your Google into your cloud account, and then you're pulling it when you need it downloaded.
Doesn't do me no good when I'm on an airplane with no connectivity.
What about the Nook though? What do you guys think of the Nook and their challenge to the Fire?
Well, they did a head-to-head. I saw some head-to-head stuff, and the edge was given to the new Kindle. So, but they're pretty close.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Yeah,
Though I don't really like the way the Nook looks. I don't know about you guys.
and I guess I don't pay so much. I'm not an aesthetics type of guy. I'm a functionality type. So, I
Yeah.
kind of focus more on function
tech.
over style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I'm a Microsoft guy.
You are?
Well, I'm a computer agnostic. I have.
I gotcha. No, I gotcha. Yeah, so I'm looking at the specs on the Kindle Fire right now, and I don't see expansion capability.
That's dumb.
Yeah, and yeah.
But we'll see. Go ahead.
There is a USB 2.0 Micro B controller, and since there's no real computer connectivity, maybe that's a transfer option. So, but you'd still need a computer to do that, or maybe they'll have an adapter where you can put in an SD card. I don't know.
I want to share with you guys something. I about 2 months ago, maybe more, I burned out my Samsung Google Chromebook power supply. Quit working, and
really?
I paid. I mean, I had one HELL time of trying to get a new adapter, and I finally got a new adapter. Actually, the right one. I finally found a company that sold them. And good luck getting one through Samsung. You got to send everything back, and then it just. So anyway, long story short, I'm back in the Google Chromebook business as of last night. So, I think a person could go into money selling those particular power supplies because I searched everywhere and only found one source for them. So it's got a special needle-sized connector on it, and I guess, probably a lot of people didn't have power supplies go bad, but I was one of the few that did. But it was nice to have my Chromebook back last night, and I was using that in bed versus the iPad.
So, what are you hearing about the Chromebooks? Are they selling, or I mean, I haven't heard much about that product here.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much either, and I need to get back up to speed on what's going on with their apps and everything else because. I've got that Chrome Show website that's sitting dormant, so I'm going to get a Chrome Show out this weekend. And so I got to get up to speed and find out what's going on with the Chromebook as well. And but yeah, I've been no show for 2 months because of the stupid power supply, and that's just unsatisfactory.
Wow.
Yeah, because it seems like it's really kind of dropped off the tech radar.
Yeah, and they're saying that they're going to have a native version of. See, what I've been waiting for is to be able to do Hangouts in Google Chrome, and to this point, haven't been able to because you can't run their little program. But they said that's coming. You're going to be able to run the natively within Chrome. You're going to be able to run Hangouts in Google Plus. So I thought that was cool. I think that's at least from my side, and what some of the stuff I'm going to be doing is going to help. But it's just one of those things.
Yeah. Did we want to talk about business pages at all?
On business pages in regards to
Google Plus? Speaking of Google.
Here's the thing. I put mine up. Did you put one up for Geekazine?
I put one up for Geekazine, Day in Tech History, and a couple others, yeah.
So how's the response been so far?
I'm actually running a contest on Geekazine to get more people into Plus. I got these Star Wars lunch boxes, which I wanted to give a few of them away. So I'm next week, as people add Geekazine to that I'll be drawing for a lunchbox with little sandwich cutters, which is pretty cool. But so far, the best thing about it is the fact that now I can start putting Geekazine content into the Geekazine container and then sharing it on mine.
I gotcha.
So far, so good. It's the same utilization like if you had a Facebook groups account. The biggest problem though is you can't share it. I
Right.
actually I'm part of the social media club in Madison, and I put together the social media club Madison page, but I can't share it with my other social media club members.
Yeah, I actually put a raw voice page up, and then I was like, where do how do I give other people access to post to this within the company? And you can't do it. So
Yeah.
that's dumb. Is that? I'm sure that's got to be like the number one request for that, isn't it?
Scoble wrote a whole article on, I think it was like 10 different things that should be fixed with Google Business, or I'm sorry, Google Brand Pages is what it's called.
Yeah, let me show you guys what it looks like, and it just it looks like a standard page. Let's see if I can control plus this. It looks like a standard page, but I put mine up and I really haven't advertised it because I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I gonna, how am I gonna manage this? So you're putting all your blog posts in there, then you're resharing from your personal account.
Yeah. Well, I started doing that last night. Before it was just post and post, because it's actually pretty straightforward to do, pretty easy. You just switch over, post, switch over, post. So, and I'm assuming there's going to be APIs so I can use a program like Twitter feed to
Just automatically send it up there.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the traction I've gotten from Google Plus. Just the number of people that are following me is extraordinary, and compared to Twitter, it's just it's amazing. It really is.
It's nice. It's nice to know that I'm a Google rock star, I suppose.
So it's I get this surge. There's these all of a sudden I'll see three, and I think it's because someone shared a circle or something. I'll see like 300 people add me, and then it'll be 80 will add me, and 20 will add me, then 10 will add me, then it'll go a few days, and then all of a sudden 180 will add me, and and I don't know if someone's sharing circles or how those lists are growing. But are you using Google Plus at all, Rob?
Um, I don't post to it a lot. I'm constantly getting people adding me to circles all the time. But yeah, I don't spend a lot of time in it. I probably should, um, but it's like I've got so many places, and I just don't have time to live in all these places.
Well, I
Yeah.
find that the living in Google Plus is a lot more productive than hanging out on Twitter or Facebook. I'm just finding so much cool
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm getting
Well, it's yeah. I mean, it seems like it might be a more public place to actually do stuff. It's more like a blog might be, right? Would that be a good kind of analogy to have?
I don't know if it's a blog. It's believe it or not, what it is. It's what Dave Weiner's wanted for years. It's a stream of media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like this continuous stream of stuff. And I've gotten 20 some circles, so I'm able to, right now I'm clicking on friends, and I can go through and look at what my friends have said. I've got family, so I can look at them, and acquaintances, people that I know, very close and are very personal. People are following me. Then I got, then I made these lists like VCs. I've got this list of just nothing but venture capitalists that I'm following and seeing what they have to say. And there's some pretty cool nuggets that come out of those folks.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
I'm following specific companies too. I'm following people at Dell. I'm following people at HP. Um, so I'm following specific company groups too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I have to say that I'm not getting as much of that type of thing like you're talking about from Facebook here after all the changes that they've made.
right,
I feel a lot more disconnected from the people that are posting online. It feels like it's a little more difficult to see that stuff now. I think that they try and roll it up and it hides stuff, and you just don't see it as often.
Yeah, someone says, "Did you see what I posted on Facebook?" I said, "No, I didn't see what you posted on Facebook. What was it?" And I'll go over their profile and be like, "Wow, how come I didn't see that?" You know,
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just because it's just there's so much volume there, and I'm just missing it. It's the same kind of problem that I'm seeing with Twitter too. There's just so much.
it's the
No,
list.
yeah, it doesn't. In Facebook, it doesn't just drop down to the next to the next to the next anymore. You got to watch that sidebar to see what's going on half the time. So, I don't like the new. I don't like that new way that Facebook is doing it, because a lot of people are missing connections there, and it doesn't flow well, not one bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not seeing as many kind of like likes or comments on my posts on my Facebook as I used to.
No,
It seems to have tailed off.
but
Maybe you're not that popular anymore.
Yeah, it could be. Could be being working on Zune, right?
Yeah.
It can be a challenge at times on that side.
well, I saw your big phone in New York City there, Rob.
My big phone?
Yeah, your big phone. You guys put up a Windows Phone 7.5 or
Yeah.
whatever the number is there in some
Yep.
big shopping district in New York City. This thing was like 8 stories tall or something.
Yeah, yeah. It was a big phone,
Yeah.
I mean, I like big phones,
Yeah, great,
like I
great
was saying.
That was great marketing. Do they realize that they could take the money they spent on that and spend that? It just blows me away. Yeah, I guess it's sexy, and I really sometimes I'm amazed at how people,
Yeah.
how companies spend their money. But
I know. No, I
Well,
had those
how many
thoughts too, Todd. I'm not going to comment too much on it, but
yeah, I
how many
know.
I
how
know
many
exactly
how
what you're
many
saying. Yeah.
how many drop downs did we see in Los Angeles on the sides of buildings? I was talking to somebody about that last night, and how much money I could literally pay my rent for a year with one of those drop downs for I think it was the new Muppet movie that they were debuting, or they were advertising in Los Angeles when we were there.
But do
It's
people actually
crazy.
react to that? Of course, we just talked about it. We just gave Windows Phone 7 a plug. So we talked about it. So they got some advertising out of it. And you just talked about the Muppet thing. So the thing is, did that drive you to go see the Muppets there, Jeffrey?
No, no. When I was in New York back in June, they had The Hangover 2 plastered all over New York, and I still haven't seen The Hangover 2 yet. So,
Yeah. Sometimes it comes across. I mean, I come from a marketing and promotions background, myself, and sometimes you have to wonder if it's just, it's just activity, right? It's just something that you can do, and it's fairly simple to do. But I think
Simple.
there's just so much clutter and so much noise out there that it's so difficult for any particular piece of new product or new announcement or something to get any kind of traction. I think that big phone back in New York, though those it's a really fun idea, and it probably got a lot of local press. From what I can tell, it didn't get picked up a lot online and didn't get shared around. It just those kind of things just don't get that much traction anymore. I think you really have to focus in on the product and what people care about, and that's how it impacts their life, right? I
Right.
mean, as they look at different phones that they consider for the holiday, I think you really have to focus in on making sure that people are aware of what's available to them. And I think those type of events, I think, tend to distract from that.
mhm.
Well, one thing we're looking forward to is, I'm kind of got all laser focused here for CES and working sponsorships, because we're coming down to crunch time here. We're going to have a meeting today with the guys and gals that are going to be coming out to the show. And, man, I just think about how much work we put into doing CES. And we're thinking about doing a Kickstarter for CES. Rob, do you think if we put up a Kickstarter and tried to raise, what would be a good goal of a Kickstarter if we were to do something for CES? What do you think we could do that was above and beyond what we do already? Because we already do a heck of a lot.
Well, so when you say Kickstarter, what are you really saying when you say that?
We're going to try to put something together that's going to help, basically help fund some of the effort. and also, provide some sort of something special to the folks that follow our content.
Oh, okay. Like some sort of a premium level, or are you
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for
some sort of a
financial
premium
support?
level. Yeah.
Okay.
And I know,
Oh,
Jeffrey, have you had time to think about it? We're probably going to talk about it later today.
Well, Kickstarter, just so everybody knows, Kickstarter.com is a way that you can put together projects. I actually funded a thing called the One Hand Marching Band, guy who made gloves that actually could become different MIDI instruments, and he's been kind of burning it up. The other thing was the TikTok, which was this enclosure for iPod Nano watch to turn it into a watch. He got a lot of money, so a lot of artists do it. A lot of programs do it. When I was out in San Francisco, I asked Leo if he thought about doing a Kickstarter, and instead of doing his brick idea, and he said, it just didn't really come through, but it's a great idea. So. We have the opportunity to actually put together the Kickstarter, and what you would do is you would donate as little as $1 or as much as you could, and then at certain levels you'd get gifts back, like for instance bumper stickers or videos, special videos from us to you, an exclusive club, I guess you could call it. So there's a lot of different opportunity to really get to the next level, so you can get funded, and so everybody can go home happy.
Yeah, so we're thinking about doing something for CES, some sort of a Kickstarter to help, because we do all this great content, and sponsorships are tougher and tougher these days. And while we think we'll have a couple of sponsors on for the event, it's just another way to help the team out. And I don't know if maybe not the right venue to do it. I don't know. I have to really think about it, but we're going to kind of shoot it around today and see what we can come up with. But I don't know. Well, it's kind of, and I haven't really talked about it too much. Kind of put it out to my audience a little bit, but haven't gotten much feedback yet. And the question is, how much do you go? Because if you don't make the goal, you don't get the money, right, Jeffrey?
That's correct.
So you have to set it at a reasonable level.
Yeah.
But anyway, are you going to come out to the event, Rob? Are you going to be down? Rob? Did we lose Rob?
He's talking, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't. Hello, Rob. That's weird.
Oh wait, sorry.
Oh, okay. Were you talking the whole time?
Yeah, it was, but I think I had it accidentally muted, so that was.
So did you have anything to add on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. I mean, I think, yeah. So I went and looked at Kickstarter.com, and is it something that's kind of happening organically, or is it totally just based off of this website?
Well, you have to push it. You have to push the. You have to promote it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And but mostly people are doing like documentaries, and they're doing little projects, and they're building stuff, and so
this is kind of a new use for it, somewhat.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting idea. I mean, it's just, I think, yeah. I mean, it's worth a shot, I would say.
And I wonder if we did something, Jeffrey, where it was like, how basically some sort of a video on how we do CES.
Well, what we would probably do is we would, and this is what I'm going to suggest today, we suppress certain videos, and if you are a maybe like a $25 donation, that you would get into the special channel, which would then you could then see those videos. I don't know. There's different ways to do it. This is not a new thing. Musicians have put together albums because of Kickstarters. People have started video shows because of Kickstarters too.
Well, interesting.
Yeah, so I guess we have to, and maybe what we do is suppress the back channel stuff. and give them the insight view on the back channel or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
figure out
potential.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, you got to be very careful on setting the right amount of money to do, and how much you're going to charge. What is it make it worthwhile? Is it $5,000? Is it 10 grand? What a dollar amount do you go for?
Yeah, because you got either a 30-day window or a 60-day window to get it done.
Yeah, and I think we're in a 30-day window. Is that how long you have to run the Kickstarter? Is a 30-day?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you can't do like a 45-day. We're already within 60 days of the show, so we'd have to do a 30-day.
30-day, yeah.
And of course, right around Christmas time, everyone has lots of money.
Do it early, right?
Yeah.
Before they spend it all.
Yeah, maybe we'd do it, and also I don't know, put it on to us. So we'll make some special events as we go along, and maybe even spend an hour. If are you doing your 24-hour podcast this year?
Yeah, I got to figure out the date. So I've got 2 trips coming up. I got to go to Salt Lake City the week of, right after the week Thanksgiving. I have to go out there for 2 days, and then I have to go to. I'm going out to Texas the week of December 5th. So I got to figure out the date, and once you start getting so close to Christmas, maybe I'll do it on the weekend of, maybe I'll do it December 17th, and that's still pretty close to Christmas, or maybe I'll do it. I don't know. It's gonna be tight. I'm gonna have to figure out well, maybe I'll do it the 19th. Boy, oh boy, that's only 7 days away. No, that's impossible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out exactly when I'm gonna do it. It may have to be December 3rd through the 4th. That'll be painful. Yeah, that might actually work. December 3rd might work. That way, because people were complaining last year it was too close to our whatchamacallit, too close to Christmas. So, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we've talked this subject out, so let's go ahead and pull the plug for today. And everyone that's been on the stream, thanks for watching. And Rob, thanks for being patient with our audio issues and doing what you could, and me rattling cables and stuff. So I think the cables get oxidized. I need to go through and do it, unplug, plug, one of those type of things.
So as far as what you guys hear, I'm pretty consistently good volume now.
Yeah,
so.
the volume's back where it should be.
So I'm on a really, really good microphone here, so I'm glad.
Yeah, it was me. So where it normally acts up, it wasn't. I reached behind the mixer and it was back there somewhere.
That's good.
Wow. Okay. Well, everyone, thanks. And, of course, you can find Jeffrey at geekazine.com. And, of course, Rob, you're over at Zune. And, of course, you got your own website, too.
Yeah, robgreenlee.com. And then I'm also on Twitter at Rob Greenlee as well. So you can always reach me. If you're a podcaster and you want to get on Zune, just send me an email at rob@zune.net. I'd be happy to add you. So.
Jeffrey, anything to add on anything new stuff you're doing?
Day in Tech History, since I made for those of you who don't know, the Day in Tech History is separated from Geekazine in its own website, dayintechhistory.com. It's been growing pretty good. I look for people that want to submit their pictures of old technology. So I call it Your Moment in Tech History, where you're in front of your Commodore 64 or Atari or something like that. Plus, I'm looking for people to talk about tech history a little bit more.
Very awesome. And, of course, if you guys got comments on today's show, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. And our voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. You can follow me on Twitter at Geek News. And, of course, I'll be back with you Monday and Thursday night for our live Geek News Central show, which is released every Tuesday and Friday. And, yes, there will be a Chrome show this week. So I look forward to bringing that out to you. All right, everyone, we'll see you next time. And thanks for being with us. Take care. And aloha.
Bye.